Bon voyage, let us sail to storyland. Bon voyage, let us go hand in hand. Hi, my name is Doaa and here's my story. I was born in a boisterous, bustling, small village in the city of Doaa, Syria, now known as the cradle of Syrian revolution. I was 14 then, a young girl full of life, whose only ambition was to get herself a good education. But soon, the scenarios changed. Tanks started rolling into the city. Demonstrators were executed en masse. It's that time when my parents decided that we need to leave the country to a place of safety. Our vague plan was to get into Egypt. Well, we were lucky enough. We could flee our country with 5 million fellow countrymen. As a Syrian refugee, my life was a grinding existence in Egypt. I was sewing burlap bags, I was working day wages while my father kept thinking about his thriving business back in Syria, which was blown into pieces by a bomb. One day, few men on a motorbike tried to kidnap me. Something inside me shook. An aspiring young student was always scared now. 4 years had passed, I was 19 and the war was still raging strong. But then there was hope, because I had fallen in love. I had fallen in love with a fellow Syrian refugee, Bassem. One day he came to me and told me, Doaa, let's go to Europe and find asylum. I will work, you can study, and we will have a brighter future together. I was so excited, but that meant I had to make a perilous boat journey. I was terrified of the water. I never learned swimming, but that was the only option. Bassem used all his life savings and gave it to the smugglers for a place of 2 people in an old fisherman's boat. Smugglers took us in a rickety bus to a beach. I saw a pool of people, Syrians, Muslims, Christians, Egyptians. 500 of us and almost 100 children. We were crammed into a boat, shoulder to shoulder, feet to feet. I took my feet up to my chest while Bassem held my hand. 4 days. It had been 4 days. We were in the boat. Many of us were losing patience. We saw a small boat approaching towards us. As they came closer, they started hurling abuses and insults to us. It was a pirate boat. They wanted all of us to move into that tiny little boat, and we collectively said no. The boat sped away just to return in half an hour. And this time, they started ramming into our boat right where I was sitting. And they rammed and rammed and rammed unless there was a big hole in the boat and the water started gushing in. In a hustle, we wore the life vests. And thud. The boat capsized. 300 people died immediately. I was holding on to some part of the boat. I looked around. A small child was being cut into pieces by the boat's propeller, and it seemed Bassem was shouting from somewhere far away, let it go, or you would be in the propeller too. I let it go and I was underwater. I could not breathe. Miraculously, Bassem found an insulated drink, a toy. He gave it to me. I hold on to it. I tried to sit on it with my legs apart, with my hands hanging. It could take my weight. In next few hours, we saw a lot of people dying around us. One entire day had passed. Next morning, Bassem took my hands and rubbed my palms. And he told me, Doaa, I would love you forever. You have a very bright future. That's when an old man came towards us with a 9-month-old baby on his shoulders. and he asked me if I could hold the baby for a bit as he was tired. I took the baby from him. I saw the old man dying. I saw Bassem losing consciousness too. And I couldn't flip his face. I couldn't do anything but I had a baby in my hands. And I saw him dying. A day passed by. Next morning, I went to a family nearby. They had a 2-year-old toddler who was barely alive, Masa. I promised the mother I would take care of the child, and I saw the mother convulse and die. Now it was 3 of us. Hush-a-bye, baby. Hush-a-bye, baby. I kept singing lullabies for them. I tried to keep them warm. I had promised myself I will keep them alive. But I was losing my strength. That's when the CPO Japan tanker had got a distress call that there has been a shipwreck. Go and find for survivors. I saw the tanker approaching and I screamed with whatever strength was left inside me. I could not lift my hands. I had 2 children. The captain finally located us and he lifted all 3 of us to a place of safety. I am now resettled in Sweden. Masa and Malak are both studying, but I want to go back to Syria. I want to breathe again because a hope is more powerful than the sea. And this true story is of Doaa al-Salem, a Syrian refugee, by Anuradha. Thank you.